Hi guys, it's Sam back with another card up on the Lawn Fawn blog. Today I'm making an interactive card using the Car Critter Stamps and Dies Let's Toast Pull Tab add-on and plain and simple stamps and dies, which I didn't show but I use later. I started by stamping my images onto some Strathmore Mixed Media Vellum Surface paper, and I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do at first, so I stamped the critter images and then I stamped the clouds from Plain and Simple. As I always do when I start my coloring, I spritz some water onto my craft mat, get my water brush, which is empty, damp in the water, and then wipe it off on a paper towel. These images for these bears are, I mean, come on guys. They're adorable. And they're really easy to color because they're tiny. I just used a couple different browns to add some shading. I started with the lightest color, and then I used my damp water brush to drag the color along. Then while it was still wet, I went in with my darker brown, and then the same brown I used for the base, and then shaded that out, and then used my water brush to bring it back out, to drag the color out. I also added some pinks to their cheeks because critters. They're so cute. Look how much cuter they look with a little bit of pink. I can't help it. The clouds, I'm just using gray. They're gonna look boring here. But when I put them against the background, they're gonna pop because they're gonna be pretty different. I colored all the clouds the same. It's pretty simple. I used a really light gray, just colored around the edges, and then used water to soften the edges, and then a lot of water in the middle, and then I went through with the same gray again to layer on the color. Really easy coloring. I decided to make my car yellow. I knew I was going to do that before I started because I don't know, I kept thinking of like a little yellow VW bug, which I think is adorable. I wanted to do red, but I know a lot of people have already done a red car, and I thought yellow. Yellow is where it's at. Let's do it. And any color, this would work for this car. A teal car, blue car, purple car. I mean, it's really cute. Okay, so I just colored in the lights, and then I'm using some grays, and do I use black for the wheels? I can't remember. I do. I use a tiny bit of black. The black Zig wheel brush color marker. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Is really strong. So I just use a tiny bit and then blend it out with the gray and then a little bit of water in the back. Here I decided the clouds were still not shaded enough to tell, so I just used the same gray again along the edges and added just a little bit more shading. Okay, so when I move to start coloring my yellow car, as always when I shade my yellow, I start with a really light brown, and then I use a yellow to drag the color out, and then my water brush in the middle area to soften it even more, so it does look like a yellow shade. I colored the whole car yellow, so all the little areas, the hood and the roof, and that's the extent of what I know of car parts. But all of it is yellow. The bumper is gray, similar to the clouds. And then I used a light gray and then just a tiny little bit of blue for the license plate, just to make it stick out from the bumper. I also colored the windshield. I wasn't sure at this point if I was going to need the inside of the windshield or if I was going to die cut it. I went back and forth. In the end, I colored it because just in case. And I just used a couple teal colors to add a little bit of like window color. Just a tiny bit of light blues and teals on the edges, and then mostly water to drag it out, which really lightens it but adds a little bit of a shine. So there I go, using just a little bit of blue with the gray license plate. It really doesn't make a difference, but I it was for me. And look, I'm like showing you, look, I'm done. Oh, just kidding. I forgot the steering wheel. So I just colored it a little bit of grays and that's it. Here I'm just showing you a bunch of stitched hillside borders that I had cut out with white cardstock. I wasn't sure if I was going to make a really hilly background or just use one hill. In the end, I just used the really tall one. Okay, so I did decide to go ahead and use the die that cut out the windshield. I do end up adding the windshield back in, but at this point, that's what I did. And I'm using the car as a guide with my Lawn Fawn ruler to kind of draw a little bit of a road. And then I use some washi tape and printer paper that I had folded to mask off the area I don't want ink blended. And I'm going to ink blend well, it's a dirt road. The road I was going to say, but this is a dirt road. I am using Distress Oxide inks in Fossilized Amber and Vintage Photo. I am using the Fossilized Amber all around the road, the edges, and then I come back in with the Vintage Photo to add a little bit more. It's not a perfect blend. You can see it's kind of splotchy, but I figured this is a dirt road. I don't want it to be perfect. And I'm going to be splattering anyway. So here you can see I'm splattering water. I also use my Distress Oxide Walnut Stain, and I'm using a little bit of water and that ink color to splat some darker browns and also the Fossilized Amber, just to give it a lot of texture since, like I said, it's dirt road. Because of the sentiment, I thought a dirt road would be perfect. I'm using the same printer paper masks, we'll say loosely, to create the grassy borders of my scene. I'm using regular Distress inks for this one in Mowed Lawn and Twisted Citron. Just a soft blend all around, and then switching the sides and repeating the same thing. Really simple masking. Masking 101. I still get it a little weird and wonky, but that's because I'm perfect. Clearly. The edges of the grass are just the exact even amount. I don't measure, guys. Anyway, now let's move on to do the sky. My favorite combo for skies are Distress inks in Wilted Violet, Blueprint Sketch, and I think this one I use Mermaid Lagoon. And I'm just kind of creating a base layer and then using the same colors to go over it again. And then I lined it up, used my Let's Toast, is it Let's Toast? Yeah. Let's Toast pull tab add-on die set to cut the little pull tab part at the top and also the slider part where the car is going to go. I also die cut out of white cardstock the rest of the mechanisms. And I'm using the same colors that I ink blended with the sky to add to my pull tab. This is when I realize, oh, I actually do need that windshield. So I'm going to attach the bears with a little bit of that glue from Lawn Fawn, and then I'm going to use the glue to add on the windshield in the back too. You can't really tell, and it works fine, but lesson learned. I'm not perfect. This just in, newsflash, I'm not perfect. This little tab was die cut as well. I am going to add a glue just to the middle of it. Then I'm going to attach it to the back of my card, and this keeps the slider pull tab from, going wonky willy-nilly all over the place. And look, perfect, up and down, magic. The car fits perfectly on the little pull tab, and I'm just going to use some foam dots to pop it up even more, and I'm making sure it still moves. Every step of the way, I make sure it still moves, because I know just one time I'm going to make an interactive card, not test it, and it'll be toast. So yeah, just adding some foam tape to the pull tab mechanism. Then I'm going to attach the car right on top, and look, driving, woo! I am using the same piece that I die cut out from the front of the card to put on the tab, and then using a clear triangle part to show people that they should pull it. And then I'm going to attach the clouds that we colored earlier to the sky to break up that all sky area. I also, what do I do? Oh yeah, trim off the clouds. I like having images on the sides. I feel like it makes the scene continuing, so I like to do that. And look, it still moves. I'm testing it again. It still moves. All right, time for the sentiment. I decided to do the I'd Be Lost Without You. I'm going to give this to my husband for his birthday because we travel a lot for hockey for the boys, and he drives. I am the worst navigator. You don't want me as a navigator. Anywho, I was finishing this card and I thought it needed a little bit more color, so I just stamped and die cut out a couple hearts from Roarsome, and I'm just adding it there. I don't know if you like that or not, but like I said, I thought I needed just a little bit more color. And that's my card, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope that you had some fun. Bye!